Hello, everyone. This is Mahlena Ray Johnson with Write Your First Book with Mahlena. So first two things they do is say if you are here and you would like to write your first book, the first piece of advice I have for you is to start writing now. No matter what you're doing, you should start writing now. So, okay. Someone's knocking out my wall. Okay, so if you have an idea that you want to get out, you should start typing on your phone, or get a pen and a piece of paper or a pencil and a notebook and write your thoughts down. Or if you're watching this video on your computer, then start typing as you watch. All right, and the second thing is, who am I? I'm Mahlena, and I went to Loyola Marymount University for my bachelor's degree in film at film school, and then I went to the University of Southern California for my MBA, where I focused on marketing, entertainment, and entrepreneurship. And I published 3 books, and I'm working on my 4th one. Love it, luau back there. So I am immensely qualified to, oh, that's what's going on. I am immensely qualified to help you write your first book. All right, so what happens after you write your first book? All right, now they're knocking. All right. So first thing that happens is I have no more words. Second thing is I have to sell this book to people. And 3, wait, what just happened? So I'm going to go over each of those stages of what happens after you write your first book. First thing, I have no more words. So yes, at some point you are going to get to the final draft of your book. And right now we're thinking of it as the whole process of writing your book. Your part of getting all the words on the pages in the right way is done, and you have the finished book in your hand. You've gone through your editors, you've gone through your designers, both interior and exterior. You've got it up on the website, and all you have to do is hit the button, and it's going to be available to your audience the next day. That's the point we're talking about right now. So I have no more words. You don't have to write any more words about this book in this book. You are done with that part of the process. So there's going to be a withdrawal that happens because you have been, it's probably going to take about a year. It may take less time. So you could write your whole book during this month of NaNoWriMo if you want. That's really challenging. But let's say you've taken a whole year to produce this book, produce all the content inside the book. When you come to the end, you're going to stop that and you're going to continue the process you've already had of marketing the book and actually setting up a bunch of business stuff. So you go from you change from the creative side of you, that's the part you've been focused on, making sure all the words are in the right place and actually tell a story, to now telling the story of your book, which are 2 different things. So there's a story inside your book that you had to write, and then the story of your book that you are actually going to tell people about, which is that they're buying your book, but they're really buying you. They want to know about why you wrote this book, what's inside of it, and why they should buy it. So the words that you have used to go inside your book. Now the words that you are going to be putting out there, whether you're writing them or saying them, they are going to be words about your book. So when I wrote my first book and it was out there, there was definitely a withdrawal process that I had that I also went through with my second book, in that I wasn't in the same mode anymore. I wasn't creating these stories. I wasn't putting all the words together and making funny quips. That's the part that I'm at in my 4th book right now, Love It a Luau, where I get to put all the pieces together of the characters and how they interact. But at the end of that process, you go into another part. So you go into the second part. I have to sell this book to people. Yes, ideally you are selling your book to people. And again, you're not just selling this product, you are selling yourself. You're selling why you wrote this book and why they should get it. And that's something I learned when I actually was in a bookstore that carried my book and was selling it to actual people. I talked to them about what it took to write the book, what the book was about, how it related to me, how my book in specific Steve the Penguin, which is my first book, was about a Hollywood assistant going back home to St. Thomas for her 10-year high school reunion. And my bookstore was in St. Thomas, so I was in St. Thomas talking about why it's awesome, why they should buy it, if it's not for them, for someone else in their life, and actually had to connect the dots. So even if I was talking to a middle-aged gentleman in front of me, I explained to him how I went to the same school as your daughters, and now that they're in college, they might relate to this book. So there's a lot of selling that you have to do, but it's not you need to buy this book. It's here's my story, here's how it connects to you, this is why you would enjoy it, and this is why you would get something out of it. So people are the consumers of your book. So learning how to tell your story about your book, not just the story inside the book, is going to be really important and something that you can practice. No one is perfect at it. Clearly, as I've said before, I'm not that great at sales. I'm really great at telling stories. So I am going through this process as well of telling the story of my book, not just telling the story inside my book. And then the third is, wait, what just happened? So after you write your book, and after you publish your book, and after you start selling your book, there is a transformation that takes place both inside and outside of you. The easiest thing to talk about is the outside part. Well, people will now see you as an author, like you have done something that is so amazing, and you have gone through this change inside that you definitely can feel, but you're not really sure what it means. People will treat you differently. They will look at you and say, oh my gosh, my friend just wrote a book, or oh my gosh, this person just wrote a book, or what did this person just write about? Oh my goodness. Ah! So that's the change that happens outside of you. You will have a book out there. People will see that you have written a book, and they will see your book and want to buy it or not. Or they may change how they treat you. There are people that will exit your life because they don't want to deal with the fact that you've written a book or what that means in their perception of you. The other thing that will happen is a change inside of you. So the change is going to be different for each person, but the thing that I realized after I wrote the book was that writing a book is not a huge deal. It seems to be this magical thing that happens. It's kind of like when people think about TV shows. They think of them as, oh my gosh, that person has a TV show. Now it's on the air. They're famous. What they don't see is the behind the scenes part of that for that one person, and they don't see the behind the scenes of all the shows that don't get put on the air. So there are, for any year, I think the process is changing a little, so there aren't as many. There are hundreds of ideas that get put out there that are pitched to studios and networks for shows. Most of those don't get past the first reading part, and then only some of them go to pilot stage, which is where they film the whole first episode and then test it, and then maybe you get down to 20 shows that may go on the air that year, and then you go to the upfronts, and then they pick like 5, depending on the network. So some of them only have 1 or 2 because they want to focus on those shows. The thing that you will realize is that there are a lot of people with a lot of great ideas out there. Not all of them make it to book. Not all of them make it to an actual book, and not all of them are even attempted. So lots of people have great ideas. Lots of people want to write a book. If you've written a book, that's amazing because you've completed the process. And the process of publishing a book is not the same as having an idea for a book. There's going to be something inside of you that says, oh, I completed this. That was easy. It's no big deal. But you don't always remember the thousands of other people out there who had a similar idea as yours. It might be the exact same idea. They didn't make it to book form. But you are going to still be on that other side thinking, well, I did this. Anybody else could do it. Why are authors such a big deal? But you're going to have gone through that where most people haven't. So there's going to be an intrinsic change and an external change. So let's go over the 3 things that are going to happen after you write your first book. 1, you're going to shift into from writing mode into publishing and marketing mode, which is going to be a huge shift. 2, you're going to actually have to sell this book to people, and that may be challenging for some of us, including me, even though I have actually sold some books. And 3, there's going to be a shift in how people perceive you and how you perceive yourself, as well as other writers in the publishing industry. So there's a lot of change that happens, and I want to encourage you to explore that change, embrace that change, because it can be amazing. And being an author is great. People look at you very differently, but you also have a new view of the world, which you can appreciate the work that it takes to put out a book, and the fact that if you choose to put out a book, the only difference between you and someone else is that they didn't choose to go through the process. So if you have any questions about this, I encourage you to email me at writeyourfirstbookwithmahlena@gmail.com. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do so up there, over there, over there. And again, I love reading your comments. I don't get many of them, so I can probably respond. So please leave me a comment, write me an email, and I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.